Welcome to Lovesick, the podcast where we dive into health, wellness, and relationships and their impact on the world today. Come be a part of the discussion and join our community by following us on YouTube, Instagram, and listening wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Lovesick. We are so happy to be back. I'm your host, Dorothea.
I'm Jada.
And today we have a phenomenal guest all the way from Montreal, Canada. We have David Dorsa, and he's co-founder, right, of Divine Scents Diffusers.
Hello, hello.
Hi,
Thank you so much for
David.
having me. Hi.
Hi, David. How are you?
Hi.
Thanks for being
I'm
here.
so excited, y'all. Thank you for having my energy is up there because I'm like, let's do this.
We always love good energy, too,
Yeah.
when we come on the show. So, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure. And let me tell you, I want to start out, David, how I actually came to contacting you. I saw you on an episode of the Tamron Hall Show, and it was an episode where she was bringing back individuals that, started doing other things, and I guess whatever the situation was between you guys, and it was so touching to me because you could see the love that she actually had for you, and she hated to see you go, but she knew you were going to blossom. So can we start
Thank you for
there?
saying that. Absolutely. I just got to start off first of all and say you're 100% right. That is Mama Tamron. I mean, she led that ship. She was the head of everything. She still is, and she was that mother figure for many of us. She kept the team together and we went through a lot of ups and downs. We launched that show. We went through COVID. We got out of COVID. So it's been a journey, but that woman is incredible. What you see on camera is what you get off camera.
Right.
I can't say anything else. She's just phenomenal.
Now, what was your position on the show?
Absolutely. So I joined Tamron back in season 1, right before they launched the show. It was sort of still, it got picked up, but we were developing what the show would look like in its first season. And I got a call. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And I had done other daytime talk shows. I had done Dr. Phil. I had done The Real. So quite a few different things here and there. But at that moment in time, I was doing reality TV. I was doing The Real Housewives of Dallas and a bunch of other different little fun gigs. But I got a call from one of the EPs at the time and said, hey, I'm no longer in LA. I'm in New York, and I'm going to be launching a show with someone named Tamron Hall. I said, someone named Tamron Hall? I'm like, as if we don't know who she is, right?
Right.
So he goes, yeah. So Tamron, we're going to be launching her daytime talk show. It's going to be with Bill Getty. And when he said Bill Getty, I went back to The View because he launched that. He was like, he is everything and anything in this business, right?
Mm-hmm.
God rest his soul. And when he told me that, I said, look, I'm in. When do I have to come meet with everybody? He goes, we know how you work. You don't got to meet with anybody. The job is yours if you want it.
Mm.
So I literally took a step back. I said, thank you. I said, let me, get back in touch with you and I'll let you know. I spoke to my partner at the time and I said, so we got an opportunity. I know you're from New York and the opportunity is in New York. I said, they'd like me to go ahead and join the Tamron Hall Show as a senior associate producer. And what that role is in the daytime world is the right hand to the main show's producer. So you are literally in the trenches. You are finding the stories, booking the stories, doing the deep dive, doing the research, everything I love, right? So I was doing all that. And then you get to put everything on paper. You get to formulate your script. Then you get to work with every department. And that's what a senior associate producer does. So I signed on. I got to continue doing what I love to do. And what I thought was going to be, I always knew the show was going to last, don't get me wrong, but I thought my journey was going to be maybe a 1 season type thing. And it lasted 4 seasons. And I loved every moment of it. The good, I'm not going to say the bad. People say the good and the bad. It's more like the highs and the bumps, not the lows, because they're not lows.
Right.
because remember, it's something I've always wanted to do. So the bad days are still good days.
Right. And actually, that's a lot of Jada's background because she's from reality television also.
Yeah, I was going to say we probably crossed paths before in our
we probably
talk
did
and unscripted world. But I do want to talk to you because you're from Canada originally.
Correct.
Okay. Because I also have that journey of like coming to LA and getting the start. And so what was like that moment where you were like, hey, to your family, like, hey, it's time. I'm ready to move to LA.
Absolutely. So I remember, and it started from being in elementary school, believe it or not. And it started because of my mom and my grandma, because they would watch their soap operas and I would watch it with them.
Which ones?
Which one?
Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless. Well, I gotta share my time with you on Young and the Restless.
Yes, I'm a Young and the Restless mother too.
Amazing. But Young and the Restless, yes. Bold and the Beautiful, those were her shows, right?
Yes.
And because of that, then I ventured off and I got into the world of storytelling. So I watched the All My Children's, The One Life to Live. I did it all. I don't think there was one soap opera I did not watch. So I wanted to be a writer. That's what I wanted to do. And as I got older, I didn't think I had maybe I would say the belief in myself to write and be a writer of a soap opera. But I knew I still wanted to be in TV, but I didn't know what. So I said, let me test the waters. So I started with an internship, and that internship was in Toronto, Canada, on Canadian Idol. Wow. Okay. And I did Canadian Idol. I got to see what it was like working with the audience producer and seeing how they filled up audiences. From there, the technical team. So you got to jump around. And I met someone there, and I thank my lucky stars that person saw something in me and they said, hey, I'm headed back to LA. I'd love for you to come. He goes, but let me see if we can do an internship for you. So they went back to LA. Months passed by. I was like, oh, it was one of those conversations, right?
Right.
I'm going to continue doing what I got to do. I had just graduated. I had the conversation with my mom and my dad saying, you know, I want to venture off. I want to be in TV. This is what I want to do. They were 100% supportive. My mom always said, honey, I've lived my life. It is time for you to live your life. I am not going to hold you back. You want to go work in TV? I am behind you and I will support you 100%. And she did that every step of the way. And I'm so thankful. Her and my dad have blessed me with their support. And I know a lot of people don't get that in life.
Right.
So through their support, I said, okay, if it's meant to be and I'm able to get to LA with these people, it'll work out. But months, like I said, passed by and I hadn't heard anything. And I got a message from Fox Studios saying, we'd love to offer you an internship if you can get accredited for your college. Well, I was a few months away from graduating, if memory serves me right. And they said, we can stop your classes and you can do your internship overseas, and that'll give you your credit for graduation. So that way you don't miss up your opportunity to go to California.
Wow.
And everything snowballed from there. I went to Fox. I interned for months. From there, the team at FX got a hold of me. I interned with them, became friends with them. Through them, I was able to work my way around. I got sponsorship, this and that. And next thing you know, I was able to permanently stay and work in the United States of America.
Wow. Was that
and
moment
I got to live my dream.
I remember that moment coming into, like, I feel like I'm talking to myself right now.
Y'all are mirroring each other.
But I that moment of literally like landing in LA and being like, wow, I'm about to do like something that I've been wanting to do since I was little.
But tell them how it started when you were 11 or so.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's so like that moment of me like landing there and being there after it's been like a lifelong dream too for myself. It's like bright, shiny objects, but how do you stay?
Absolutely.
Right. So how do you stay in LA? Because you probably met, I don't know about you, but I've met some people who have been in and out of there like real quick because it can get hard.
It can get very hard. And yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I ended up staying in LA for 13, 14 or 15 years, I think it was. I lasted.
Yeah.
and LA is hard. As much as everybody says LA is amazing, it's California, it's glitz, it's glamour, it is far from it. I mean, you're talking about having to go somewhere 10 miles away and being stuck in traffic for 2 hours. Then there's the stress of that. The stress of having to get there and putting on a show after being stuck in traffic for 2 hours. Then the stress of putting on another show, but having to be stuck in traffic again, going back home for another 2 hours.
Agree. Yeah, that's it.
But your days end up being 19, 20-hour days, honestly, because you're working production and then you're commuting for God knows how many hours because it's just so congested. And I think that was what made me want to leave altogether. Like why I accepted the Tamron job in New York at that time was because I think as much as I loved LA and a part of me is always going to be in LA, I was over it. I was over the constant traffic, the insanity of it all. You know, I kind of wanted to have a little bit of a shift. And I always said, one day I'll try New York. And that was my opportunity to stay in the business, stay in the talk show world, but move to New York.
Right.
LA does kind of have a little bit of a burnout because I moved to New York too for a few years just to kind of just be like, and then there was a interesting shift, not weird shift. There was an interesting shift where there were a good chunk of my colleagues going to the New York side. And it was definitely a different life. For sure.
The burnout is real, Jada. Yeah. It's real. People keep thinking, oh, it's something they say because they're just tired, you know. But no, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
And it can wreak havoc on your health too. And you know, and I think a lot of things when I would go, especially my dad, my mom knew a little bit more kind of how this industry works, but it would be like, when's your next job? And you're like, I'm gonna, you know, when I first started out, when's your next job? It's gonna, okay, I don't understand. Okay, I'm working 20 hours a day, but this is the life.
This is what freelance is. And you got to explain it to everybody. Right. And then the job is done. And then they're like, but wait a second, when do you start work again?
And then they're like, what is it that you do?
That's why I will tell you this. When I was able to transition from doing, you know, reality shows and go back into the talk show world, I was like, your son, I was telling my mom, your son got himself a 10-month gig, locked in on a contract with a 2-year option. Yes. He is good. Don't worry.
Yeah, the excitement does come there. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like later in my life, when I got older, like as I got older and had kids, I had been focused more toward like steadier like stuff because I mean, the TV world, yes, there are different personalities. There are, you know, a lot of elements that go into, you know, what you want to deal with and what you don't want to, and etc.
Absolutely.
That's my general way of being very kind about this industry.
Absolutely.
Well, because it is an industry that's given me the things that I've been wanting to do too. So I don't, you know, whatever, putting the good energy out there. But
I completely agree with you on that. The same with me. You know, my heart will always have a special place for the TV world. And, you know, creative beings will always be creative, you know. But there was that point where after I had lost my mom, right, I needed to reevaluate because I was getting to that point where I was like, go, 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 go. And I was mourning and grieving my mom, but not to the point where I could fully be 100% okay. Yeah. And I knew that I wanted to be, especially in my last year of Tamron, without realizing it was my last year, I wanted to be very particular in the stories that we got to produce on the team that I was on, because each story I got to share and I got to produce had their own way of healing my heart on losing my mom. So every story, every human being I got to meet, they were instrumental in sort of putting the pieces back together for me. And through that, I was able to then step away and look at my life and look at everything. And as much as it was going to pain me to leave, I made the decision to leave Tamron because I wanted to focus on my well-being. I was having also a couple of little health things going on here and there that I needed to get in check. And the only way to do that was if I focused on me. So I made the choice to leave. And during that journey, scent came up and I found my mom close by again. And I wanted to do something to honor her. And I didn't quite know what it was. But as I was on this journey of self-discovery and on grieving and mourning and putting the pieces back together to my heart, I realized Mama loved her scents. Walking into a home that smelled great, walking into a business that smelled fantastic, because she believed that once you walk into a place that smells great, you're going to keep the person there because they're going to be into it. They're going to be, there's something that happens when you walk into a home or a place of business. And the first thing that you get hit by is the scent,
Yes.
because scents have the power to bring you back to a moment in time, something that you may have forgotten about, but all of a sudden that scent evoked those memories.
Yes.
And for me, we wanted to create a collection, a business that honored my mom. And every single scent we had, I wanted to find a way to tell a story and incorporate my mom in there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you if you wouldn't mind that moments like when your mom was sick and when you were like, I need to leave. And this is, obviously the decision is to be with your mom, but what was that like for you?
Absolutely. So we were in our first season of Tamron, and it was during COVID, and my mom was diagnosed with cancer a few months prior to that, but things started getting more murky with her health. And I remember we got the call that the show was going to continue on during COVID and we were going to go virtual. And I had a meeting with Tamron and the executives, and I said, I'd love nothing more than to continue on with you guys, but this is literally what is going on in my life personally. I'm telling you, at the time, the executive producer was Candy Carter and Tamron as well. And they both said, David, pack up, go be with your mom. You can do this remotely. We're going to work remote. You can focus on finding your stories and you can focus on being there for your mom. And that gave me the power to close up shop in New York, head back home to Canada after all these years of being away, and set myself up and keep working for Tamron and sharing the stories that we all love to share, but also get to spend time with my mom and be there for her. And I'm so grateful for that, because that, without ever realizing, and I never thought it would have been possible, but that ended up being my mother's last year of her life here on this earth with us. So if it wasn't for the people involved, my husband telling me, let's go be with your mom, Tamron saying, go be by your mom, and Candy saying, go for it, we got you, we'll always be there, I don't think I would have been able to have enjoyed that last year and have been a support to her and have seen her happy to have all of her children in one place again. So
right. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful story. And again, that's why I contacted you, because the story was so beautiful, as you are mentioning now. But for me personally, I actually have a lung disease. And so when I saw that, it hit me because of the fact that I was diagnosed like 41 years ago, and I was diagnosed with pulmonary sarcoidosis. Okay. And so Jada was like 5 years old when I was diagnosed with that. And so that's why it resonated with me when you were talking about, because I love scents. I love fragrances. To me, that's like, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. It makes me relax. And so when I saw that, I thought, wow, this would be a great show, because there are a lot of other people who have been diagnosed with all types of illnesses. And sometimes this is their savior. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's their peace of mind.
It's their peace of mind, their little escape. Like I said, the power of scent.
Right.
It does such incredible things, not only for your olfactory and for your memories, but also for your spirit.
Yes.
It totally, for example, let me share this. Flawless, one of my favorite fragrances, which I've sent to y'all, that I think you'll love it.
Yes.
It is there's different ways to describe it. I told Tamron it makes me think of my mom making, everything citrus in the kitchen. Because my mom used to love her key lime pies, her lemon pound cakes. She used to love everything citrus. We're Italian. So, of course. Now, other people have told me that the scent, Flawless, makes them think of the Amalfi Coast, adorned with lemon and lime and green grapefruit and all these beautiful things. So for me, Flawless has all of these beautiful notes in its purest form. And to me, it encapsulates who my mother was.
So what was your first scent? That was your first scent?
Yeah.
So the first scent, actually, I worked on all of our scents like simultaneously, because I wanted to have a collection ready to go out. But Flawless was one of the first ones. But Passion was the number one that was ready to go. And Passion, I'm so proud of it. It's a beautiful, delicate scent. It is white tea fig. Delicate, stunning. Walk into a resort in Thailand, may it be the Four Seasons, or go to another resort here. It's very hotel-like.
Yeah, I have the Passion one with the diffuser.
I sent you Passion.
She got the hotel smell.
Exactly. I love it.
But look, since we're at it, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go right ahead, my dear. Go right ahead. That is our petite diffuser. So actually, I have them right here, right behind me.
Oh, okay.
Those are cool.
These are the petite diffusers. So let me grab this one. This is the rose gold one.
Okay. Yeah, that's the color that I have.
This is the one you have.
That's the one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's the one you sent.
I'm going to open it, but I want you to explain yours first, and then I'll open mine.
Absolutely. So these are one of our favorites, okay? So our petite diffuser, I tell anybody it's perfect for small spaces, anything up to 200 square foot. So think of a vanity, a bathroom, a closet, okay? It comes with a 20 milliliter fragrance that you just insert and you push in, and the fragrance will come out from here. You have your power modes and then your settings here. The beautiful thing about this little compact metallic diffuser is it's not only for your home. We have a car function on this. So when you set it to car mode, you put in your cup holder. As you start driving, it feels the vibrations and it'll start releasing the fragrance.
Yeah.
See, that's awesome, because now I want to put one. Now I want to put it in my car, and now I might be spending all my money because I want to be like the car. This room.
Speaking of,
she's going to open hers up.
Speaking of spending money,
oh yes,
it is actually. We are doing our biggest sale to date right now. We are having our big spring blowout sale. We are doing 50% off everything. So if people are like, oh, $100 is a little too expensive for me right now. Well, you know what? Everything is half off right now. Wow. Our fragrance is half off. Diffusers half off. And the beautiful thing is because y'all are so gracious and you have me on your show, and I want to share the love with you guys, your viewers, and your listeners.
Okay.
At Divine Scents Diffusers, we decided to give you all a 20% discount. So if anybody wants to order, all they got to do is go on our website, and in the redemption of the coupon, they can put Lovesick 20 in caps, and they'll get 20% off their order. So apart from our sale going on right now, they get another 20% off.
Can you tell them the website?
Awesome.
Can you give them the website information?
Absolutely. Our website is www.divinescents.com.
Okay.
That is so great.
That is great.
So happy.
Thank you for that. And I know the listeners and viewers will love it. And Jada's opening up the box right now.
I love it. I love it.
And can you talk about, while she's doing that, the cleaner?
Absolutely. So the cleaner, I love our cleaner. Our cleaner is our little wizard, is what I call him. So people love to have diffusers and put their fragrances.
Hold on. I pressed the button.
So that's what's funny is people buy diffusers, fragrances.
Wait, David, sorry. I just pushed the button. My bad. That was my fault. Oh, I turned it on. Okay.
There we go. If you keep your finger on it for a few seconds, it'll turn off. There we go.
Boom. Okay.
So the cleaner.
The cleaner, I call it our little wizard. So what the cleaner is she is meant to keep your diffuser in tip-top shape. People normally buy diffusers wherever they buy them from, other companies and whatnot. They'll put in their fragrance. Once it's done, they'll change the fragrance and they'll let it go. What they don't realize is that each fragrance, they have their own notes, right? So as they go through the mechanisms, they could eventually clog up your machines, correct? Because you're putting one fragrance after another, after another. Our little wizard there, the cleaner, if you insert it in the diffuser, as you would your fragrance, you let it run for 10 minutes. It'll clean out your entire machine, all the internal mechanisms. It'll clean out. It'll still shoot out like a mist, but it won't have a scent because it is a neutralizing cleaner.
Right.
So it'll clean out your machine, and then it'll be ready for you to insert your new fragrance, and then you'll get your fragrance at its optimal scent.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I'm like really excited to use, like, you have no idea, like,
I'm so excited for Jada. Once this is all said and done, you're gonna have to like message me and give me a text and let me know like what you think. Okay. All your thoughts.
Absolutely. I already know where it's going.
She's going to put it right in that car.
Not just my car, but my home office. I love to
I love it.
Love that, my Zen spot. So that's going to be my.
This is what I love about this is that you can actually pick it up and just put it in certain rooms.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
the beauty of it.
And it's all like chargeable via USB port. So you can charge it and then you can unplug it and put it anywhere you need to put it. In your home,
that is cool.
In your office, in the car, wherever.
And I like because I have a diffuser at home. It's like this little plasticky blah, blah, blah. But it's not really.
Yeah, we wanted to have variety in the collection, right? Because our plug-in is made of plastic. I sent you guys a plug-in too as well, either for the studio or for Michael. Yeah. And that was what we launched our company with. It was one of our, and it still is one of our best sellers.
Okay.
Which
that's nice though.
You put in your 100 milliliter bottle in here, and then you just plug it in. And then you have settings over here for intensities 1 through 4. Okay. So you can actually control how strong you want it. And then the bottom row over here shows you 2 functions. We have a smart mode. So if it's plugged in and it detects light coming in from your window, your diffuser will start. Once it detects no light, it'll stop and it'll conserve your fragrance.
Wow.
Okay. Now the second function, I love this one as well, is 12 hours. So that means 12-hour function. You plug it in, let's say 8 a.m. It'll go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on and off throughout its function. It'll stop at 8 p.m. for a 12-hour break, and then it'll restart again 12 hours later.
So how often do you have to recharge the diffusers?
So the petite diffuser, I would say you can get life out of it for, a good few hours. I usually use it, unplug it, use it. Once I'm done in like 4 or 5 hours, I'll go plug it again, just so I have it charged up in case. The plug-in, it does not need to be recharged. You keep this plugged into your wall. And the fragrance itself, depending on your intensity, can last you about a month and a week, depending on, how strong you set it. Okay. Some people tell me their fragrance lasts maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. That's because they keep it on a 4 setting, which is the strongest.
Okay.
And my cheapo plastic one don't have cool settings like that. That one's nice.
This reminds you
can take around and
and this reminds you of like that hotel, the resort type luxury type of diffuser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for the people that don't want to have a diffuser out on display, let's say people that have a business or a home.
Yeah.
We also do HVACs. So we have, if I can show you, I'll just put it up. Those, we have machines that can fit in the HVACs.
Oh my
So they go through your ventilation system. These are beautiful, like decorative towers that can shoot, and they cover large spaces. And then we have, for the residentials, for the homes, we have these Eclipse diffusers, which can go up to 15,000 square feet for larger homes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it comes with a 500 milliliter fragrance.
And you know what? And speaking of your fragrances, let's tell the listeners and the viewers about what ingredients you put in them, as far as like organic or things like that. So when they're like smelling this, it's not harmful.
Everything that we have is organic. It's in its rawest form. There's no harsh compounds or chemicals put in. Everything is as you see it on the bottle. If it says it's green tea, it's a green tea. If it says it's a hint of vanilla, it's a hint of vanilla. No matter what it is, lemon, lime, everything is taken from its fragrance. We follow all the standards of IFRA, which is the International Fragrance Association. So we follow all of their standards. So everything meets their criteria and is safe and healthy.
That's what I love, because a lot of people don't, the idea of bringing chemicals into your house for the sake of smelling good.
Exactly.
It's harmful. So this is good.
And looking at other companies too, we wanted to differentiate ourselves, not only with the collection we presented, but obviously we wanted to be affordability. We wanted people to be able to, I don't care what walk of life you are, you have the right to luxury. And I believe our prices are unmatchable. They're unbeatable on the market. And another thing I loved is how our fragrances are all made in-house. A lot of these other companies import their fragrances, and that's where you get a lot of the harsh chemicals. A lot of them are from overseas. Us, with the right lab and the right team on hand, we have a facility where we have an operating machine where we have our guy that comes in, does the fragrances. We know what goes in everything, because everything was already pre-selected. all the T's are crossed, all the the I's are dotted. I prefer having control over here than getting something overseas.
Yeah.
Well, you know your product, and also like what goes into
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it makes us, it makes us a proud, small family business. Right. We support everything we do. I wouldn't put a product out that I don't have in my home. Every fragrance, everything that we work and we try to perfect, everything gets tested at my house. I'm a scent enthusiast now. So if there's something about it I don't like, then I know it'll cause a problem for someone else. So I have to look into it even more and more and work at it.
Wow.
I know your mom's proud of you. I know she is.
Thank you. That means a lot. I can't tell you how hard it is to not break out into tears talking about her.
Right. That was your mom.
My best friend, my soulmate,
right.
My number one.
Yeah.
All this is for her. And, she was always proud of me working in TV and following my dream, but yeah.
Oh, we
this is for her.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said I know she's proud because she knew you would do it though. She knew that you would do this. And you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah. What about people with allergies? Are they able to actually purchase this?
Okay. Yes. Here's the thing. Our stuff is tested. They're safe. They're adapted for kids. They're adapted for pets, adapted with people that may have allergies. But like I tell everybody, you got to test it first. You know how they say perfume, you got to test a little patch before anything? Try it out. If you're having an issue, reach out to us. We'll handle it, But I haven't had an issue. We've been around now going on 2.5, 3 years. And I'm thankful. People that I know specifically that have had respiratory issues, allergies, asthma, they've tried it and it hasn't affected them. But the beauty about us too is it's not a one-stop shop. I'm not going to send you a fragrance. You tell me you like something more on the delicate side. We'll make sure that we prepare you something more on the delicate side. So if you choose passion, we won't make it so potent if you don't want it potent. We'll make it more delicate.
Oh, so it's customized.
So we can customize it too, correct.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's good for people to know that, that you can actually create something.
You can let us know.
Everyone doesn't have to have the same, potency of the fragrance.
Correct. So on our website, there's a little notes section, right before you check out. So you can let us know if there's anything. And if someone tells me I have severe strong allergies, I don't want it too strong. Well, we know that, the formula that works for everybody may need to be tweaked just a little bit more for this person that's going to be getting it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But that shows, David, that you really care about your customers. That you're not just selling a diffuser with, the different types of fragrances. You really care about whether or not they can use it and whether or not it will harm your customers. And that's why you have everything that's organic. So people will appreciate that. And you would be the go-to company.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
That's the goal of this company. We care about the people. If it wasn't for people truly supporting this business, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
As much as I say all this is for my mom, it's also for the people because they seem to like what we're doing. So they're coming back. Yeah. So we pride ourselves on listening to what the people don't like. And, we're very customer service oriented. We are determined. If there's something wrong, we'll find a way, we'll fix it. Because at the end of the day, your happiness, that's all we need. We want to make sure you're good. Because if you're having a kiki with your girlfriend, you're talking about your fragrances, we want to be the one that, you're mentioning. So just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. Or if y'all are out, you're having a great time at a friend's house, but there's a smell from something they cook, you can be like, girl, I got this diffuser in my bag.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I love it. I'm so grateful that you took the time out because we know that you're busy. We know that. And I'm just glad because this way people that have that same passion and love, they have other options. Not all the options are organic. Not all the options when people have allergies or any other thing that's ailing them that they could use the diffuser. So it's good for them to know that it's safe.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
safe.
safe. And it's honestly, I believe in all of my heart that we have something for everybody.
Yeah.
And we keep getting better and better every day. We keep relooking at the products we have. We keep relooking at the fragrances that we have. How can we make this better? How can we get to this targeted person demographic? How can we reach? It's all about reaching the masses. We want, like I said earlier, people believe that having a diffuser and aromatic fragrances is a luxurious thing. And, people will say, yes, it is. I believe everybody deserves it. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you're in. Everybody deserves to have something that makes them feel good. And we pride ourselves on the fact that you can compare our prices to any other company out there, and we are so affordable. And we are so proud of that because we want the everyday person to be able to at least buy one and be okay and know that they have it and they could enjoy it. And they can be like, I got one too.
Hey, David, would you mind giving our audiences the website again? And
Absolutely. So everybody can find us at www.divinescents.com. We are also on Instagram at Divine Scents Diffusers. And you can reach out to us and we will answer any and every question you may have. And I guess, there's a 20%. Oh my God. Yes. Another 20% discount for all of you listeners and viewers. Lovesick 20, Lovesick 20, all in caps. Again,
right.
Lovesick 20, all in caps.
all right, y'all heard it.
Y'all heard
Get
David.
them caps on.
Look, I'm
and
just
a fun
saying,
fact,
y'all heard it.
y'all heard. And a fun fact, I know I was telling you I love Flawless. We have many other phenomenal fragrances,
Right.
But I will say Flawless is proven, anything citrus is proven to boost your energy levels from the moment you inhale and you wake up. There's studies that show that having lemon, lime, anything citrus will set the tone for a good day. It'll center you and it'll start you off on the right path.
Boom.
Well, that sounds good. And that's why I said I'm glad that you're offering the discount because April is Sarcoidosis Awareness Month. And people, all of my fellow Sarcodonians, the warriors, when they see this, they can know that they have a safe product that if they want to try this out and can help relax them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And now we need one in the studio. You hear that, Solomon?
And you know what's amazing? You know someone that can furnish them now.
Yeah. Get your 20% off.
You hear that, Solomon?
Well, that's why I asked the allergies question.
Right.
That's all different
Solomon,
people come
order
in
your
here.
20% off.
20% off now.
David, thank you so much. And I hope the weather gets better there in Montreal. And hopefully we can do this again with you down the road. And maybe when you have some more fragrances or other new technology out there, let's stay in the loop.
Let's stay in touch. And I would love it if next time I'm there with you in person. Again, I'm so sorry I had to do this virtually this time around.
Yeah.
But I'll come and give you some personal love next time. Promise.
Oh, that would be good. And I want to say shout out to the Tamron Hall Show, because if it wasn't for that show, I wouldn't have found you.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you for that. That show, one more thing before we go, that is one of the biggest blessings of my life.
Yeah.
And that show.
And we can see
it brought a lot of good people into my life. People that I'm forever grateful for.
Love that.
Well, David, continued blessings to you, the company, your partner, and stay safe. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, you do the same, David. Wow.
Thank you all for tuning in to Lovesick Podcast. Thanks for showing us the love.
Thanks, David, for the love. Bye.